What's up out there? I have 3 builds to talk about, so let's jump into this. So I've been playing as if you followed the series so far, I've been playing this Bone Shatter Slayer build since League start. And this is pretty much what I've been doing. And this particular build right here has gotten me up to level 96. I've got the Eater down, the Exarch down. I've got down to 300 depth into Delve. I finally put this together the way Karn actually built it with this stuff over here for the resistances and everything. I finally got this all settled out the way it's supposed to be. The difference with my build and what he's got, well, there's a few differences, but first and foremost, we now have I keep saying transcendent, but they're transfigured gems. So I've been using this Bone Shadow of Carnage because you don't have to worry about trauma stacks. The problem is this doesn't have nearly as much damage. It doesn't scale up as far. So I was trying to figure out how to scale it, and in a video not too long ago, I had came off of this large jewel socket and worked with that and got it, I think I managed to get over 1 million DPS with this arrangement here. And then I was looking at, I eventually came back and redid all of this, the passive tree the way it is, the way it's supposed to be according to Karn's build. Now, the big thing that I missed, and I did a video for this the other day, and this isn't the same gear, so it's like not even the same thing, but the thing that I missed in his guide is to actually look at the gear itself. He was calling for spell suppression and stuff like that, which I didn't do a very good job of getting that in the first place. But the biggest thing that I missed was the implicits, and the implicits were basically taking some of physical damage, 5 or 6% physical damage, and sending it to either lightning resistance or fire resistance. And I totally missed that. So it gimps my build because I didn't put those in the correct places. So that's part of it. So I'm not able to mitigate all the trauma stacks that I'm getting. I was able to put that on something. Well, I've already switched all my gear out to the Juggernaut build, but I was able to switch some things where I was able to get one, I think it was on the helmet or something like that. But I just could never get this build to work with either Bone Shatter of Complex Trauma or Bone Shatter itself. I got it to work pretty great with this Bone Shatter of Carnage. The problem is it just doesn't scale up with damage. This is as far as I could get it. And it's like, I don't know, 800,000 damage according to POB. So I'm putting this build to bed. I have 2 choices with this, and I don't know exactly what I want to do with it yet. 3 choices. Number 1, I could just leave this go and just let it sit and collect dust until the league ends, which is probably what's going to happen. The second idea I had was, I was thinking about this the other day, I could roll another Slayer or even change the Ascendancy if I wanted to something else. I'm in the Slayer Ascendancy, and I don't really want to spend all the regret points to get out of it. That sucked I did that with my Perforate build, taking it to Gladiator. But I don't want to do that here necessarily, but it is an option that I did consider. Unless there's something that's like really cool with the Slayer build, I'm probably going to leave this the way it is because this is built out. I have no issues with the build the way it is. My problem is that I did things wrong on my gear, so I would need to redo my gear. And instead of redoing all the gear for this, I thought, you know what, I'll just leave this one the way it is and then whip up a Juggernaut. Juggernaut's supposed to be able to not only tank all of the, it's got some of the same features that this does, but one of the big problems I have with this particular build, the Slayer version of this, is that it's all life leech. There's no regenerate at all. So if you put Bone Shatter on of Complex Trauma or whatever, and you're wailing along and you have to let off the gas, you have no healing capabilities. And if you do try to heal, which is leeching and attacking things, you can't do it because you start building stacks and die. So I find this to be very limiting, and I don't really like playing it. I've gotten fairly far with it. I'm just not happy with the way it is. So that's why I spent last weekend going through the Juggernaut side of it. I actually blew through the campaign very quickly. I got through in like 7 hours and then spent another hour on cleanup with working the build up and everything. We're going to get into that version of it here soon. But the third option that I have with this particular build is to see if I can actually take Bone Shatter of Carnage anywhere. Now, it's not going to reach the heights that Bone Shatter of Complex Trauma can. But one thing I was thinking about is this build works extremely well with speed. I'm sorry, not this build necessarily. I shouldn't say that. The skill gem itself works with speed because you can just stack as much speed as you want into this. You don't have to care about slowing things down for the trauma stacks. So one of the things that I noticed was that this over here, yeah, so this one's got 3% increased attack speed, and it's got life leech on it. So this has also got more recovery from life leech, more increased speed, and more increased speed here. So I could potentially pick up some of these nodes here. I don't know what I would drop. I'm gonna have to relook at this and spend some quality time with it. But I would try to take, like, these have increased attack speed on Wrecking Ball. I don't want to get rid of anything that has increased attack speed. So this, like this one here, potentially I could try to get 3 more levels off of this, or I could find some points to rob somewhere else and see how it goes. But the thing I would be robbing is probably going to be, this already has increased attack speed. You know what I mean? So like I might be robbing some things that already do what I want, or else robbing things that have, like armor and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I would have to take off of this, probably spell suppression or something, like it's stuff that you don't necessarily want to take off. But that was my one consideration, is that I could actually just take this build and try to jack the speed up as much as humanly possible and see how fast I could get this build to see if it actually could do anything on, I don't want to say even on par with Bone Shatter of Complex Trauma, but just to have something to tinker with and do with it. So that's this build. I'm pretty much pouring one out for this one. I've got a decent set of flasks. I've got some gear I could rob off of it, but I've basically taken all the good gear off of here and put it on my Juggernaut build. So this one's probably just not going to go anywhere as it is. So let's look at Perforate real quick before we look at the Juggernaut build. On the Perforate side of the house, I do have a little bit of forward momentum going with this. So I was sitting there the other day and I thought, I've rolled a Gladiator. I've got one. What else could I do with it? If I couldn't get Perforate to work correctly or do anything good, what else could I do with it? So I looked around and, browsed around a little bit, and I saw that there's Lacerate builds that are basically built in the same kind of region and uses a lot of the same wheels that I was using for the Bone Shatter and for Perforate and everything over here. So, I mean, it's dropping some of the stuff off of this side over here. Like, we're not going over to spell suppression. We're not doing any of this the Vol Pact or any of that stuff here. I did drop all the dual wielding stuff, and I'm not dual wielding anymore. We are down to Axe and Shield. So I looked at the Lacerate build and basically kind of followed all of that. Instead of doing the Lacerate build, I put the Perforate gem in here instead. So this probably is a lot closer to like something that actually functions and works. But because we have a shield now, I had to start taking all these shield nodes and everything. We do get frenzy charges and endurance charges coming in here. It was socketed gem jewel that I was able to put in here, which I was using before when I on my other Bone Shatter build when I came off of this thing here. I think these are the 2 of the jewels that I used. So this paths over into that, and we come up here to get Can't Be Evaded. We get some more damage with axes, but this is all single-handed stuff, and this is like actually purpose built for this kind of reason here, and it even uses the same Crimson Dance and Bloodletting and all that stuff over here, and it comes up and picks up the Savage Wounds up here, and I don't remember why we got Barbarism in here, but it picks up a lot of the same nodes that I was looking at picking up with whatever bastardized thing that I was trying to do, except this kind of does it a little bit better, I think, and I had never really considered using I was kind of, my whole premise of this started off as dual wield Bone Shatter, and then it became dual wield Perforate. So I never really thought about the other things, but then I thought, you know what, I could throw on, and I need to swap this out. This is like the only tower shield that I had, but I thought I'd try this out and see how it goes. So I don't have 100% chance to bleed. So I switched my axe out. I tried it with a little bit slower axe, and it was a little too slow. So I whipped this axe up real fast. It's got 1.61 attacks per second, so we're getting into 3.37 attacks per second. I think this needs to push as fast as possible, and my resistances are okay. They're not great. They're definitely nothing to write home about. But this is a Tier 9 Crimson Township map. Let's go run this thing real quick. I would like to actually show this build. It feels much better now. Much better. It is a much quicker build. I still need to do the other two things for the Wildwood. I'll get to that whenever. But the big driver of coming over to Gladiator. Oh, I think I did actually go and get. No, I already had that. I had Outmatch and Outlast taken. I had to switch over to Painforged. I did have all 4 of these. But the big thing coming over here is that bleeding enemies you kill explode, dealing more damage. So that's kind of the big draw for this. Or for switching out from Slayer to Gladiator. Do I not have? I do not have. I'm going to end up dying in it. Do I have all that on? Yeah. Why do I not have? Do I just not have enough? Oh, there they are. Let's see. My totems aren't coming out. This is, oh, it's physically resistant too. Let's get away from this thing. That's not a good showcase for this. So I can't really take this too far into the game right now. Like, red maps are totally out of the question. If I was to tell you what this feels like and actually have it meaningful, you know how you dump out of the campaign and you get into like white and yellow maps and everything's cool, like you rebuild a little bit for you get out of the campaign, you finally build up so you can do yellow maps and stuff like that, like you make some changes and get in there. You can't really do red maps yet, and then you die stupidly on this kind of thing. I don't know that this is going to be like a great showcase for this, but it's that white yellow map kind of range that, like, I tried doing a tier 10 with this earlier, and it was a little bit rough. Like, it was way rougher than it needed to be. So this isn't, oh, that's not a place you can jump down. So this isn't necessarily like a perfect build by any stretch. Like, it's got a long way to go, but it's a lot better than it was. And I feel a lot more comfortable with it. It feels much better. And I think, like I said, I quickly threw an axe together. I really need the axe to go as fast as possible. I need more speed out of this so that it kicks off the tines and everything. Did it drop anything good? Nah. But you get that big bleeding explosion. That's pretty cool. This has got some okay clear to it. It's not great. It needs more speed for that. But the big thing I thought this could do is be a boss killer, and it's not great at it. It's definitely got... Come on, why can't I pick the map up? Give me the map so I can move on. It's got its moments. Like, it's not too bad. We can clear. We can do things. And it's not a total garbage fest that it was. It was pretty rough. It's a lot less rough now. It's definitely got a long way to go, but I think it's a lot more on the right track right now. And basically following the Lacerate template, if you want to call it that, seems to have made this feel much better. We drop these things off. Yeah, cool. So there are some differences to this with Perforate. And because it's following... Oh, we got to get out of that. That hurts. I died to that a lot. I fought this... no, don't. Yeah, need some survivability in there. Actually, you know what? I don't feel like going back through there and killing that. You get the idea. This isn't the greatest build in the world. It's not bad. But it needs a lot of improvement. So we're actually running Reckoning on this with Life Tap, Pulverize, and Life Gain on Hit. That is actually something that came from the Lacerate build. I kept that on here instead of trying to... I wanted to see how that felt, what it did, and it's a little different than Cast when Damage Taken, but I think this works with your shield, so I think that's a better synergy with this. And then we've got Enduring Cry, Life Tap, Molten Shell. I probably don't want Enduring Cry, really. Because I don't think that works with slams, does it? I have to reread. No, maybe, I don't know. I have to read into that. I also don't have a 6-link with it. We've got the same Ancestral Protector and Ancestral War Chief. They wanted Culling Strike on here for some reason. I guess that gives it a chance to kill an enemy with 10% if the Ancestral Protector hits it, so that's cool. Then we got our Leap, Slam, Life, Tap, Faster Attacks. So this is still kind of a work in progress. Like I said, it's not going horrible. It's not necessarily the greatest build in the world. It definitely needs a lot of work, but I think putting it into the Lacerate part with the shield and everything is working better, and I do want to try to keep tinkering around with it and maybe bump up the speed with this and see if that goes anywhere and see what we can do with it. So anyway, let's get to Juggernaut. Now, real quick, we are level 89. I think when I did my Slayer vs. Juggernaut video the other day, I was like level 74 or 5, something like that. I've put on a lot of levels with this, and we've got some decent armor-ish. I've got my resistances sort of sorted out. They're at least above what they need to be. And let's see here. We've got 90% physical damage reduction. I've got the Tanu Ahis on here. I had already found these before I even started playing this, so it's good that I have all these uniques stored up. So I've got that. I stole my belt and Murderous Eye Jewel from my Slayer build. I think I stole the boots from the Slayer build. I definitely stole this 6-link armor from there and the 2 Chaos rings, Chaos resistance rings, and the Carnage Heart. And I think I started finding these fluted bassinets. I put those in my filter and started finding those. The axe also came from the other side, as well as most of the skill gems. The cast when damage taken, I think I just left it like it was. But all of these are 20/20, so they're level 20 with 20%. Well, not all of them have 20% quality. I haven't got them all into quality yet, but I think I might have kept the, no, I might have switched those over. I don't remember. I might have switched the flasks over. But at any rate, I took as much gear off of the other side as I could and put it on this side so we can do as much damage as humanly possible. My accuracy is low. It is only 3,830, but my life is only 3,575. So we're below life, which our accuracy is above life, which means that this thing over here over here, precise technique is going to work. So as long as I keep that accuracy up, so I can't get my life too much further at the moment before I have to start working on accuracy. But check this out. If we go down to here, you'll see that I am now at depth 310. I think I hit 305 with my Bone Shatter Slayer build. So let's go down here. I'm down at 310. This build at level 89 is as comfortable as can be. Now watch me just go and die. But it's taken a couple of shots to kill some things. I could probably back this up a little bit, just slightly, maybe 20 levels or something like that. And it's a little more comfy to play. But I think it might depend on the biome that I'm in, because sometimes I hit with one shot, I just wipe the whole thing out like that. And then other times I'm hitting them twice and I got to clear them out. I don't know. It is what it is. But this is working like a champ. Like, this is fantastic. No problems with clear, no problems with stacks. And the biggest thing that I really like about this is that I can actually just let off the gas and I can still recover. Like, I don't have to worry about health because because I'm not leeching everything. I can just let off the gas and I'm fine. It is so much different. Let's go down here, I suppose. It is such a different experience. This is getting back to the way Righteous Fire was last league, where, you're just regenerating everything. I took a wrong turn. You're just regenerating it all, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, I could try to put on the Immortal Flesh on here. I don't know if I want to mess with that because my resistances are already kind of low to begin with. I would have to rob that from the good one that I have. I would have to take off, or the best one that I have, I should say. I would have to take off of my Perforate build, which I'm not quite ready to gut that build yet. I don't know that I will or won't ever do much with it, but I hate to gut it out. And I don't know that Immortal Flesh is like the way to go with this, because I don't see anybody. I don't see that in any other builds that I'm following. This is Tripolar's Bone Shatter Juggernaut build from last league. I think he's got one up on Max Roll, but it doesn't seem like it's got a POB you can download, so I couldn't remember who I downloaded last league from, but I ended up getting, I ended up keeping, I've been trying to keep all these. I did this one at the end of Ancestors League just to see how I liked it, and I liked it. I liked this a lot, and then I decided to go with for a couple of different reasons, but I decided to go with the Slayer build. I thought it was supposed to be a little better damage and everything, and I couldn't get it to work. And the more I looked at, builds that people use with Delve, if you want to get any deep in Delve, you're basically using Juggernaut. Like, you just can't stack as much of life-saving stuff in there. Okay, which one do we get today? We got the one with the holes on it, or the things on it. So we'll come over here and kill some stuff. So I can just hold this button down. My stacks are building up. They roll off real easily. Like, I was dying a little bit the other day, and I am not seeing that today. Because I've got everything teed up a little bit. Drop one of those things down here. Kill this stuff off so I can pick some crap up here. But I mean, this is doing extremely well. I can put my totems down, get my loot, man. Kill this stuff off. I guess I'll grab that. I don't necessarily care about it. I don't want that right now. Anything good drop over here? No. But this is holding up just amazingly well. Throw a flare down. Figure I'm probably not using my flares as often as I should. Let's see, drop this stuff off here. Yeah, I mean, this thing's going extremely well. I got through the campaign very quickly with this. Now, granted, that was with a decent bankroll. Where's the exit? I'm totally looking at the mini map and not the big map. We'll go back to here. So, I've got all my stash. I've got all my currency in my stash. I've got all the uniques that I have and everything. And this build is just stepped up. This thing is massive. Now, I did fight one fight earlier that I still can't quite get through. And that was, who was that? That was, I don't think it was Drox. It might have been Drox. It was one of these that I don't have witnessed yet. Might have been the Hydra one. I can't remember. But there's one of these fights that I can't get through. I got through that one. I got through that one. I don't think it was any of these. But I still couldn't get through the fight. I can't remember who it is. I think it might be the Minotaur one, actually. Or Phoenix. I guess it was Forge of the Phoenix. I couldn't get past that boss. So I'm still not quite getting through that one. I got totally trashed with my other Bone Shatter build, with the Carnage part of it. But with this one, this is full 2020 complex trauma. This thing is holding up extremely well. I want to get these bosses. That is one of the biggest things that I actually want to get done, is clear these bosses off and get these done. What I couldn't do last league, which is get one or two of the other Void Stones. Like, I got the Eater and the Exarch, but I want to get the other two. I definitely want to get the Maven fight done. Like, I want to get into all that bossing. Oh, and speaking of that, so I made changes to my Atlas tree yet again. So I was I was invested into Einhar. I was invested into, what else was I going into? I had this socket down here for the Eater, or this section down here of the Eater stuff. Because you get ashes of the stars from the Eater, so I was trying to go and farm him every once in a while. I only did a few fights with him. I didn't do enough. But I ended up backing out of that, and whatever else I had. I don't remember. Einhar. Well, I was into Einhar because I was trying to get, number one, I was trying to roll the Tainted Pact, because there was two different paths you could take with Karn's build, with either Tainted Pact or Ashes of the Stars. And this one could help this, because you can get uniques from Einhar's beasts, and this one was trying to get the Ashes of the Stars. But if I'm not going to work on that build anymore, if I'm not going to worry about the Slayer side of it, I don't need either one of those uniques. Maybe I do. I don't know. I haven't really looked at this build totally in depth, but this has already exceeded where I was with that build. So I thought, you know what? This build's doing really well. I came out of whatever I was all in and moved over into essences again, because this build can take the essences. That's not a problem. I can do fully wild wooded out essences and I'm good. And I still have to leave this here because I'm still stuck on that one stupid map I can't get. But I went all in on the center here to get item quantity and rarity, and then picked this up for quantity and started working on essences. I've left Harbinger and Delve in here, and I basically came back into this here for synthesis. So I'll probably end up, I might still do some of the eater farming. I'm not sure, just to see how, because I haven't fought him with this build yet. I might try that out, and then I might take that out and go into the Conquerors. I'm kind of undecided on that right now. I really need to build up my currency stack because I've spent, oh my God, have I spent a lot of currency. I burned off all of my orbs of chance. I blew off all my orbs of fusings to get this thing 6-linked. And then to revamp my Atlas tree, I burned through all the orbs of unmaking and a lot of regrets. And then to fix perforate, I went through a lot of regrets. And you know what I mean? Like, you just burn through the scourings, and I think the chances get you scour. I don't know. I can't remember all the daisy chain you got to go through to get it all. But I ended up getting a lot of stuff. I've burned through a lot of currency, and I need to get my essence stacks built up considerably, because then I could start looking at rolling axes and gear and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm going to work on right now. I've got this up to level 89, so I need to try to get this to level 96 if I can. Just at least 95. It's got to get to 95. But if I could get to level 96, even better. That makes it on par with my other build. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and that is what I am looking at doing for the foreseeable future. This build is going to be what I'm going to run. I really wanted to get one particular build. This is what I was hoping Righteous Fire would be coming into this league, and then it got all kinds of nerfed and changed. I shouldn't say nerfed, but it got changed. I'm hoping that this Bone Shatter build is going to be what I do going forward, because I really like this. I have good campaign clear with this. I understand it now. I've got a good feeling about it, and it's fairly easy. I think I could league start this for the foreseeable future unless I try something different. But I think this is going to be my league starter, and I think it's going to be Juggernaut, and that will get me, I think, this next league. So like this league, I had to learn a new build, but going into next league, I don't have to worry about learning a new build. So if I don't get the Maven down or something like that this league, I can look at doing that as next league thing, because if I can clear the campaign faster, and if I could get through, I got through the campaign and the most of the mapping section in like 2 weeks with this build, or with my Bone Shatter Slayer build. If I get this build and can do all of that, get the Eater Exarch, all that down in like 2 weeks, and start tackling Maven, get all geared up and everything, that's just that much faster. So I don't necessarily see it as a loss for doing the Slayer build. I just see it as I tried something, it didn't quite work the way I thought it was going to work, and the one that I initially was going with is the one that I should have went with. Oh, and I will point out that let's see, where's it at? It is not on here. Oh, I don't have all my implicits on there yet. I actually don't have any of my implicits on. I thought I had something on here. Well, I guess not. I thought I had one on here that I thought I rolled. Oh, it's right there. 10% of physical damage from hits is taken as lightning damage. So that one, when I rolled this fluted bassinet, it actually rolled that into it, and I was like, oh, cool. So then I just put 21% increased armor and evasion with max life on there to raise both of those up. And this already included that. So the other thing that I can do now, I don't have to craft it on here. What I'm going to do is get the implicit. This has got the Eater implicit of increased attack damage. I need to build up some of that currency because I'm running real short on that. But there's another way you can take another, I think 8% of fizz off to like fire or cold or something like that. So there's another one I need to put on there. And then I really need to work up another piece of armor that you can push that off. And then there's like 8% of damage taken, recouped his life. That's on here. And I think I might want to get that on my boots, like I have that sapped ground. I just ran out of the currency. I can't change that. So I've got some other work to do as far as the implicits go, which is only going to make this build that much better. So anyway, that's what I've got going on. I'm going to be working on this build for a while in between. What is it? Pal World just launched. That's kind of fun. It's a little Pokemon or whatever mixed with Valorant is what, or not Valorant, Valheim is what I keep seeing it described as. But it looks a lot like the game Icarus if you've played that, a survival game. So I'm going to dip off and play that a little bit too, kind of get away from this for a little bit and check that out. But I'm still working on this in the background, just leveling this up when I get sick of leveling this, because we're hitting the grind now at 89. It's definitely going to get bad here soon, but this is the future right here. Bone Shatter Juggernaut. So anyway, that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.